When our frequency is higher, when we align with the fifth dimension and live through the heart, our consciousness is expanded as well. And so we can see through those divine eyes that I always talk about. We take off the human eyes and we put on the divine eyes, and we can see everything for what it really is. We see the full range and the full scope of the human experience, and everything feels better and makes more sense. Everything becomes more meaningful. Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Leeor Alexandra. Welcome to the B community. On this channel, we talk about the law of attraction, spirituality, self-development, and so much more. And today I want to continue to talk about 5-dimensional living. So in the last video that I did, the newest video on living in 5D, I was going to include these steps to aligning with the fifth dimension, but I went on such a tangent explaining what the fifth dimension is and really bringing you guys into it, seeing what it is, that was a whole video on its own. So I wanted to break it up into more digestible bite-sized pieces, and that's why we're here today. So if you haven't seen the full context of the video, why we want to live in 5D, why we want to become 5-dimensional beings, and what that really means, please, that link is down below. It will give you a lot of that information that's going to support this video here. So as I was saying in the intro, one of the reasons why we want to live in, one of the major reasons why we want to be our fifth dimensional selves is because you do get to kind of open your heart and take off the human eyes and put on the divine eyes and see everything for what it truly is, and see everything as colored in love. And when we see things as colored in love, life's just going to be better. Life's going to be more enjoyable. It's going to be more fun. Being in and out of the 5D, it feels so magical to see what's there and see what's here and bring those lessons and those realizations that come with being a 5-dimensional human and bring it into the 3-dimensional experience. And I want you to live a life that's just filled with love and so much joy. So like I was saying, I can rant about 5D for hours. It's literally my favorite topic, especially right now. But if you want to see me ranting about it, go watch the last video. And let's get into my 5 steps to align to the 5th dimension, to the heart-based living, to that expanded self, that state of expanded awareness and connection with the divine, connection with the love, heart-based living. Can you tell it's fun? It feels good? So number 1, as I was saying in the last video, in order to really get to be in 5D, you must first really understand the 3-dimensional and the 4th-dimensional realms and honestly enjoy them. That's what Matthias De Stefano said, right? You have to enjoy those dimensions. And in the 4th dimension is really where we kind of meet our shadows and do our shadow work. If we're looking for a location for our subconscious mind basically exists in the 4th dimension. And the 4th dimension is, it's the step before getting into the 5th dimension. And that is the step in which you have to integrate your shadows, you have to become whole, and you can't run from your shadows, you can't run from your fears. And if you do, you won't be able to make it to that 5-dimensional living. I have experienced this really, really viscerally. I've been going through this journey for the majority of my life, but it really deepened in 2019, and I had the dark night of the soul. And when that was happening, I wasn't sleeping well. I had about 8 months of insomnia, and the reason why was because I was too afraid to fall asleep, because every time I would fall asleep, I would enter sleep paralysis and I would be confronted by literal demons. Like, I would see the scariest things. Looking back, I know what those are now. Any demon that we see is just a projection of it's our own self-made demons. The things that we don't like about ourselves, the things that we've banished to the 4th dimension, that we've banished to the shadow realm, those exist as they become these physicalized thought forms that actually look terrifying. They look like demons. And when you're confronted with that, that's not because you're cursed or something's wrong. It's literally because you are going through an initiation to get to the 5th dimension. In order to get to the 5th dimension, you have to confront your fears. You have to confront your shadows. Now, for you, it's not likely that they're going to be physicalized into the form of an actual demon that you're seeing in front of you that you have to learn what to do with, right? Because, I don't know, my third eye popped open and I live this life. I live this life of spirituality and mysticism. And I really, I also believe that being an astral traveler and somebody who does work in the astral realm at night, you kind of have to go through this initiation in a very physical and visceral way. But not everyone's gonna have to do that. So don't worry, because whatever way it shows up for you is perfect. It might show up in physical reality. It might not show up at all. It might just be something like, a very normal fear. Like you have to face your fear of heights, or face your fear of spiders, or face your fear of saying sorry or forgiving somebody or healing something. It's going to show up in different ways. And mine was very literal, that I was facing my demons, but it could be symbolic for you, right? So in order to get to the fifth dimension, I had to get through the fourth. I had to learn how to handle my demons. And let me tell you, I did. And I learned what you're supposed to do. I had a year of trying to figure it out, and I ran from them, and I hid, and I tried to not sleep so that I wouldn't see them. And I did whatever that I could to not experience that, right? And that didn't work. And that process took longer and longer and longer until I learned to reclaim my own sovereignty, my own power, to remember the light that I am, and to shine so brightly. And again, this was really literal for me, but perhaps it's symbolic for you in your life. Where have you been not allowing yourself to shine? Where can you reclaim your power? Where can you step into your sovereignty and say, I'm in control, the power is in my body, I get to say what exists in my room and what doesn't at night, I get to say what happens with my fears. And what I did is I learned that rather than fighting my demons, rather than fighting them or running from them, what really worked is sending them unconditional love. Believe it or not, I began to just send them love. And this was difficult. This was scary at first. It's like you're confronted with the scariest thing you've ever seen, and you have to think about loving them. And so this took a time. This was a process, but eventually I was able to radiate so much love and so much acceptance. And I was just like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, until they burst and became these bubbles of light and integrated with me, reintegrated with me, until I became whole. And then I did the same thing with my inner child work. I just loved my inner child until it stopped looking like a scary monster. I have several videos about that on this channel. I'll try to link them down below for you. Until it stopped looking like a scary monster and it started looking like a beautiful younger version of me, a child version of me. The sweetest part of me that was just it rotted away, got spoiled because I sent her away somewhere else because I didn't want to confront her. So I know that this is such a tangent, but shadow work is so important, and it is such a big part of raising your frequency and living in a 5-dimensional way. It cannot be bypassed. We cannot walk around this. Whatever scares you about yourself and about the world and about other people, you're going to have to confront in order to live in love and live in your highest power and have the 3-dimensional world basically bend to your whim. As you work with God, you work with this God energy to have everything be beautiful and understand that everything is part of the plan and it's all perfect. So there's several different ways to do inner work, right? If you have light work, my shadow work program, that's a really, really powerful way where I guide you through shadow work. You might have some sort of meditation studio around you in your city where you can do some sort of shadow work. If you don't have anything like that, if you don't want to do anything like that, what I recommend is journaling. What I recommend is awareness. Start to figure out where in your life you're being triggered and where you could follow those triggers and explore them further. So when you're journaling, maybe create some sort of ritual right before bed where you review your day and think about what emotions came up for you and what negative emotions were elicited out of you based on some sort of trigger. And when you identify those, explore them. When's the first time you felt this way? Why are you feeling this way? Where is this coming from? Where else in your life do you feel this way? And just kind of really observe what's going on and journal through it. That is beautiful shadow work. That is doing the inner work. And just that is really, really good in starting your journey to get to the 5th dimension. So just really bringing awareness and curiosity to your emotions and to the negative emotions that you feel on a daily basis. Rather than judging yourself for having them, just being curious about them and then following them like breadcrumbs into the trail that is your reclamation of yourself and your integration of the 4th dimensional aspect of you. The rest of these things are going to be really fun, all right? So the second step to aligning to your 5th dimensional self, to being a 5th dimensional human, is having a daily practice of remembering. So if you watched the first video on living in 5D, did you write some notes down from that video? Did you write notes down from this video? What aspects of that video did you like? What made you feel really good to remember? Because what I'm sharing with you is something that you know on a deep, deep level, but it's not in your conscious mind yet. So we're pulling it out of the subconscious. So what aspects, what did you listen to in that video or in this video and you're like, oh, I like that. I want to remember that. Do you enjoy maybe remembering that you are playing a human right now, that you are not only a human, that you're this eternal spiritual soul, this higher, bigger than life entity that is a part of God, a part of the Creator, that is so big and so important? Do you enjoy knowing that? Do you enjoy knowing that you're going to continue on and play in all different areas of life in this multiverse and experience all these different cool things? Or do you enjoy remembering that you have senses beyond just your physical 5 senses, the 5 traditional ones? Do you enjoy remembering that love is the only thing that matters? What makes you feel good to remember? Whatever you enjoy from that video or from this, write it down and make it a habit to remember these things on a daily basis. In fact, I would keep it somewhere in my bedroom or in my bathroom or somewhere you're going to see it in the morning and go through that. So a daily practice of remembering who you really are and what really matters. Unity consciousness, oneness, unconditional love, creativity, creation energy, connection with your higher aspect, with the oversoul, with the divine. So having this daily practice of remembering is going to open your heart up on a daily basis, and you're going to continue to open and open and open, which is incidentally our next tip. So number 3, living as a 5D human, as I was saying, is best explained as living through the heart, right? Because love is this concept that exists in the 5 dimension and that's been materialized and physicalized, and it literally exists in our heart. It radiates out from our chest space. This is where the vagus nerve is, and all these things, everything is connected to the heart space. So as long as you are living in and making decisions, making your daily human decisions based on this heart-mind space, which is a connection of your heart and mind, of course, then you're connecting to your higher 5D self. When your heart feels open because of certain things that you may have done or thought in the 3D, you open to your infinitely happy, healthy, and abundant 5D self. So this is what I was talking about a little bit in the beginning. It's when we are opening, when we are living through our 5D self, our consciousness is expanded and we can see things better. We can see things more clearly. We make better decisions. We live a happier life because this heart space is open. So we're continuously making decisions from the heart rather than from the ego or solely from the mind. So ways to open your heart include number 2, which is the daily practice of remembering. It's making gratitude lists and counting your blessings. It's service to others. It is mindfulness practices. It's entering flow state through doing things that you love to do, such as, maybe movement. Movement opens the heart. Yoga opens the heart. Working out opens the heart. It's those chemicals that they work hand in hand with these 5D elements and they elicit that 5D flow state. There's so many ways to raise your frequency and align with that highest version of yourself. And it all comes down to just continuously making decisions from right here, from that clear voice of the heart. If there's a way that you love to tap into this open-heartedness, this expansive energy of open-heartedness, please comment it below to inspire others. We love to hear it here, and know that simply choosing love over and over again, love in all its forms, and always making the most loving decision is living from the heart. That is more than enough. Number 4 is cultivating oneness perspective. This is very similar to remembering, but it's specifically remembering oneness. Remember that at the core of all things, the core of everything, we are all one, we are all connected, and that remembrance will shoot you straight up to 5D, where that is already completely true, where everything is one. When you look past the illusion that we have here in the 3rd dimension, the illusion of separation, and realize that all of reality is an expression of your inner self, you will find compassion for the world and for all of its inhabitants. You'll find compassion for yourself, which is not always the easiest thing. You'll remember that everyone is godly and divine, including yourself, and everybody deserves to be treated with love and with, almost like worshipped with devotion, because we are all sparks of the Creator. We are all pieces of the greater whole. There is no separation. This reality, this dimension is what creates that illusion. And when we go on higher and higher frequencies, we strip away that illusion and we see that we are the same thing as every tree, as every beggar, as every pebble. We are the same thing as all of it. And the last thing for aligning with your 5D self, and these are concepts, right? These are concepts that we can bring into our lives, much deeper concepts than necessarily, physical things that we can do to raise our frequency, which I have a ton of videos on that, ways to raise your vibration, and I'll make more if you'd like more. But these are these concepts that we have to carry with ourselves, concepts that come from the fifth dimension, that when we carry them with us, we align to the aspect of ourself that exists in the fifth dimension as well. And so the fifth is to let things be, detachment from the physical world. So this detachment is an incredibly important step of living as a 5D human. So I'm not saying not to care about people or not to care about anything. I'm basically saying to detach from outcome, because you already know that there's a divine and perfect plan at hand and everything is going according to plan. So I'm again not saying to not make goals, not set intentions. You're supposed to do all those things. You're supposed to set your sails, but knowing that you are always guided and protected and part of a greater picture, and that detaching from how the end result is going to look and just letting things be, just practicing that non-attachment where it's just like whatever is and let things be. You're going to set your intentions, you're going to set your goals, you're going to set the sail of your sailboat toward the direction of whatever it is that you want, and then you're going to let go. You're going to enjoy the journey. And with this letting things be and letting things go, think about anything that's material and detach from material things, because you remember that nothing except love is real. Nothing lasts except love. And yes, in essence, we even detach from our loved ones and from connections. And I know you're about to give me Aang's argument from Avatar when Guru Patik tells him he needs to detach from his earthly connections. I know, but I'm not saying what the Guru was saying. I am, but I'm saying it in a more practical way, right? Love and be attached to the people that you adore. I'm so attached to my family. Let people come in and out of your life, just like seasons, right? That means when someone leaves their earthly body, do your best to continuously remember that they're not gone for good, that they're never gone. Energy's never created nor destroyed. A soul is never born and it never dies. It just continues on to a different kind of reality. And that is 5-dimensional living as well, knowing that you are more than this physical body. And that when somebody leaves us, they've just given their physical vessel back to the earth where we borrowed it from. The soul exists for eternity, and we can always connect with that with our loved ones in spirit. They're always with us, always. And when we're detaching, we're not detaching from the love that we feel. The love that we feel is what we are. It's all that matters. But we're detaching from anything that is material. Anything that is material cannot last forever. So what lasts forever is the love that you feel. So those are my 5 tips, my 5 concepts for aligning with your 5D self. Please watch the other video if you haven't already for more context. Take notes so you can remember, you can do your practice of remembering, and let me know what opens your heart, what expands your soul and your consciousness and awareness. Leave it in the comments below so you can inspire all of us. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, for spending some time with me today and popping into the 5D through this video. I'm sure you felt it. If you did, let me know. And you can let me know by putting a thumbs up. That really helps. And if you want to further support me and the channel, you can do so by investing in yourself, by getting yourself an amulet from my talisman line, my amulet collection, alchemybyla.com, or by investing in yourself through one of my life transformational courses. That's going to be linked in the description below. Other than that, I love you so much, and until my next video, keep your vibrations way, way, way up. Bye, Bubba.